And for Daniel Bryan, he's probably the biggest, best known star that you've trained. He's on the Total Bellas show that does better ratings than NXT and AEW regularly. Plus, he's a multiple time world champion. He was a star all over the world before he signed WWE. Could you talk about your training with him and thoughts on his success?
I tell, even back then, I told all the guys, when you start doing this, even now, when you start doing this, put your foot on the pedal, don't let go. And what that means is, if if you want to be, a wrestling star, it's not just training from 6 to 9 every day. It's it's a whole lot more. Wrestling is this, but there's a whole lot of other stuff also. So, and Brian did that. Brian Kendrick, Brian Danielson, uh, Lance Cade, uh, and there was a kid named Shooter Schultz. I mean, and there were some other guys. Um, there were a couple other guys that followed that rule. Um, Brian was, if you would have told me the first day of his training, which was around June of '99, that he was going to be who he is today, really, there was just nothing to him. He was a nice kid, very polite, very well mannered, but there was nothing there. It was just a hard working young man. Um, but like you said, I mean, he when they got signed to the their developmental deals in 2002, or no, 2001, and they went to Memphis. They were there for a while, and they got cut. Um, Brian Kendrick called me, and he was sobbing. They just released us. What do we do? What am I going to do? Where do we go from here? The end of their world just happened. And I said, come back here and move back to San Antonio, and we'll do. It's not the end of the world, man. You just got to keep pushing. So I think he ended up going to Louisville, but he was coming down to San Antonio to do some stuff for me. Same thing with Brian Danielson. He called me up and he was like, what do I do, Rudy? What do this is all I want to do. I said, then don't stop. Just, you guys got an opportunity to to go to developmental right away. Some guys say you didn't deserve it because, they did it as a favor for Shawn. So prove them wrong. Don't just. Shooter Schultz quit. He was done. He was furious when he got released, and I haven't seen him since. But Brian Danielson, I mean, he went to Los Angeles and he trained over there for a while. Then he went to England and trained there for a while. And he went to Japan. He got hooked up with Ring of Honor and then Kendrick as well. I mean, they put their foot on the pedal and they would not let go. And that's just what you got to do, man. And Brian and those two guys are the epitome of doing exactly that. So, you know, looking back, looking back then, you saw the drive. They were always the first ones to show up to the gym. It was getting to where training with those guys was 9 to 12 Monday through Thursday, or Monday through Friday. But then after a few weeks, Brian Danielson and Brian Kendrick both came up and said, "Can you stay a little bit longer and work with us?" Sure, I have the keys to the building. Sure, I don't mind. So we would train from 9 to 12, and then everybody would leave, and then from 12 to 3, me and Brian, and then some other guys were like, "Well, if they're staying, we'll stay too." So it was like five of us would stay from 12 to 3, and just go over stuff. Just you know, uh, take a guy by the arm and hold his arm. What can you do with this arm? Well, let's try this. Let's try that. Let's try. What if you did this, then he does that, and we just did stuff. Um, and every you could see the wheels turning, and with those guys. Brian would just like hold a guy by the wrist and just like, hmm, if I take this and I do it this way, and just different stuff. Just uh, we do shows and he'd pull me off to the side, and would it make sense if I took this guy and he did this and then I did that and whatever, and you know, always asking questions, man. Always. I see some guys today that are very talented, but wrestling for them is Saturday nights. You know, they diet, they have the good look and stuff, but um, they don't, they don't put the extra work in, um, which, it's putting the extra work in is just as important as anything else. I mean, you gotta commit yourself, and those guys did, man. I mean, when when Bryan retired from wrestling a couple of years ago, that wasn't an act, man. He was distraught. He was really, he was really hurt. Brian Kendrick, um, same thing, man. He me and him had a conversation. He called me up one day and he just, I don't know what to do, man. I've done wrestling all my life, and we had a conversation on the phone, and I said, look, man, I love those guys to death. I love, I can't say enough about them. But I told Brian, I'll bring you down here. I'll fly into San Antonio, stay here for a couple of days, help me train my guys. We'll sit and talk, and I'll fly you back home Monday or Tuesday. And so we did. He flew in like on a Wednesday. He did like a little clinic for me on Thursday. Friday, I got him booked on a show in South Texas. Saturday, he did my show. And then Sunday, we sat and talked. And there was some crying involved. There was some anger involved. There was some soul searching. There was, and at the end of the day, it was like, man, if this is what you want to do, you need to call up. Don't call Shawn. Call Matt Bloom. If you call Shawn, of course Shawn's going to go to bat for you, and you're going to be in that position. Well, you only got the job because of Shawn. Don't call Shawn. Call Matt Bloom. You got the numbers. Call Matt Bloom. And he did. And look where he's at. Bryan Danielson, he just, this is his deal. He was born to be a wrestler. The Total Diva stuff, I don't know what that came from, but seeing him on TV and stuff, it's like, where is this coming from? But that he's fit in very well, and he's done well for himself. And seeing them on TV, man, I just like, couldn't be prouder.
Do you have a favorite episode of Total Bellas that he was in?
Actually, I don't even watch the show. I've seen a couple of clips here and there. The one that stands out though is there was an episode where they were talking about he couldn't have kids or something like that, and I was like, click, I don't want to see this. I don't see those guys, even though like Brian Kendrick just had his I think his 40th birthday, 38 years old or something now or something. To me, they're still 18 years old, man. They're still, they're still kids to me.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.